morning, everybody. Welcome back to Louisiana Homestead. It's about 7:30 this morning, and I just wanted to bring y'all outside for a little bit and let y'all listen to Big Mama. Usually the roosters is what would wake people up on a farm, but lately Big Mama is the one who wakes us up on our farm. She lets us know she's ready to eat, and I'll let you hear what I mean.
All right. Did you
know?
Big Mama had 3 calves on her, and our daughter-in-law and son took her to another pasture so they could separate those calves. It was time to wean them. And I don't know, maybe a month passed, and they brought Big Mama back with 4 new calves, 4 more calves on her. This is 4 more orphan calves. I've seen them several times with all 4 on them, nursing on Big Mama all at one time. This is the best nurse cow I ever seen in my life. She raises them calves. Let me get my bell. Maybe we'll show them how they come. Did you ever do that?
Nope. Okay, Mr. E's go and get his bell. He's gonna ring it, and usually all the sheep and goats will come in running to him when he rings that bell. So let's see if he can perform that little bit of magic this morning for us. You can stand out here and call them all day and they won't come, but if you ring that bell, they associate that with eating. Yeah, he had got out of the habit of doing that. But if you ring that bell every time you feed them, you can come out here and ring that bell for them anytime and get them to come up to this barn or come to you wherever you were ringing that bell at. The goats are already here. They decided to stick around this morning, but the sheep had already gone out. And goats are looking pretty good.
They ain't hungry.
Mr. E said he don't believe them sheep are gonna come all the way in this morning, but I don't know. It kind of looked like they are to me. They hear that bell and they come. Well, they came in. A couple of them's getting them some. I guess y'all can barely hear me with all this animal noise, but he's coming out with his eggs right now.
That's not bad. I mean, they usually don't lay when it's so hot, so we still getting plenty of eggs.
Brought some water from over yonder. Give it a little drink. He's eating insects. He sure is welcome to stay. Gonna put some on that turmeric too. I got a little bit of a start on dumping some of those buckets of manure down into my rows. I got this first row done. It took about 2 5-gallon buckets to get this row done. My little wagon will hold 3 buckets. So with the extra bucket I had, I emptied it down at the end of this row. So I plan on getting 3 buckets, 3 5-gallon buckets in here every day. I'm just gonna pace myself and do it slowly because of the heat and everything. And I run out of energy in this kind of heat. So I'll be going slow and easy, and I'll get it done eventually. So I'm looking forward to that because I am depending on the natural fertilizers and the breakdown and decomposition of stuff like the cardboard also in here. All that's going to help to build my soil conditions in here. So I'm using the tea that I'm making, the fertilizer out of the barn, which is manure from the sheep and goats and chickens and cows. Sometimes the horses go in there, so there's a little of theirs also in there. And of course the breakdown of this cardboard, which I've had cardboard in here for the last 3 years. It breaks down well. It helps hold the moisture in, and it helps keep the weeds down a little bit in between the rows. So I am liking that. I plan to continue using those methods because they do work well for me. Of course, everyone has to do what works well and best for them. A lot of it is experiments. So other people have used these things, of course, but for me it's experimental and it's working pretty good. And of course the shade. I could not raise a garden, I don't believe, of this type and do this well with it without this shade in here. At least not last year or this year. The sun's just been so treacherous. I wanted to share with y'all a neat little thing that Mr. E showed me when we first started gardening together. He had a way of wrapping these hoses up that when you unwind them, they don't get all tangled. And I think it's pretty ingenious. So let me just show it to you. What you do is you roll that hose up in a 8. The figure 8, and you keep going over and over in that figure 8. And I'll just show you. I'll finish winding this one up right quick, and you can see how it winds up like that. And so of course every time you use it, you want to come and put it back into this figure 8 like this. And it's not really hard to do at all, and it keeps your hose nice and tidy. Now watch, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this hose off of here, and I want you to see how it doesn't get tangled up like when you put it in any other fashion. You see that? I'm not going to unwind this whole hose because of course I have to come and put it back, but you seen that? It just came right off of there effortlessly. That's the way to keep your hoses as far as I'm concerned. It's a lot less work and a lot less fighting your hose and trying to untangle it. Because to me, using a garden hose, it's kind of heavy and stuff, you know, so if you can make it easier to work with like this, that's kind of a priceless piece of information. Okay, hang this thing right here. But don't that look good? It just comes right undone so easy, and I can pull it anywhere in the garden I want to. I want to show you something else he does with his hoses that I hadn't seen anyone do before. Well, he doesn't have one out here right now. I'll have to show you in the big garden, but he's out there shredding right now, so I'm not going to go out there. Anytime someone is shredding, you want to stay away from that shredder. Accidents happen. Stuff can come flying out of those shredders. If you see somebody shredding, never walk up to that machine. Wait until they are completely finished and they've turned it off. And if you're not sure if they turned it off, wait till they kill the tractor and get off of it before you go up to them. The clouds are building here. We may get a rain. I don't know. I have been doing a lot of sweating out in that garden, and it looks like no matter what hat I wear, I end up with sweat coming down into my eyes. So I'm about to cut me an old t-shirt and make a cotton t-shirt and make me something that'll tie around my head. I figure the cotton t-shirt will be nice and stretchy, and it should be absorbent as well. So I'm about to recycle one of Mr. E's old t-shirts. It's clean, it's stained. Let's use it. I probably can get a few of these sweatbands out of this. I don't know how good it's gonna work or how I'm gonna tie it or what, but I'm gonna be figuring that out as I go. Okay, so I'm thinking I'm gonna need to cut it down the side, and then maybe and roll it up kind of like you would a bandana, where it'll have a couple layers on it. So that's what I'm gonna do with it, like that. That looks pretty good, and it's plenty long enough where I'll be able to wrap it around my head and tie it. So let's see how it. Okay. It's nice and stretchy. It feels comfortable, very comfortable, y'all. This is gonna be a good use for these old t-shirts. I can see it already. Very comfortable, way better than a bandana. Those bandanas, they don't stretch at all. But this t-shirt stretches perfectly. I think I'm gonna love it. I gotta go outside and test it now. I made Mr. E one of these sweatbands too, and I'm about to go bring it to him. But he's out there shredding, and I want to make sure when I go that shredder is off like I had explained earlier. And I want to bring him some cold water because it's very hot out there. I got this little igloo at a thrift store a while back. It was brand new, and it works good. It does have a little drip, but it doesn't matter. When you're drinking out there and it's so hot, it's okay. You got that good cold water going. And what I've been doing is making me some ice. I saved these and just put water in them and put them in the freezer. And between these two, they fill up that little igloo real good. So, just have to run it under the water for a second to get the ice to come out, and it comes right out. Put it down in there. I put the smaller one at the bottom, and I put the bigger one at the top. All right, see, it just about fills that cooler up with some big, nice, big hunks of ice, so they're gonna last longer. All right, let me get some water in there, and then we'll get out there and bring him some good cold ice water and a headband. We'll see what he thinks of it. Okay, we'll get the lid on this. And this is a ½ gallon, guys. Make sure that lid's on there good. Okay. Okay, I can hear that he's not shredding. I see that he's using his bucket to move some dirt from the bottom of that old hay bale down into his garden. It's part of the decomposition method that we're using to fertilize the garden. So that's what he's doing. Shredder's not on, so it's safe to come out here right now. know I just told y'all a minute ago that this little cooler was leaking. I got to thinking it's got a little O-ring in it, a little rubber O-ring in it, and it's probably just dry. So I put some vegetable oil on it, put it back in there, and it's not leaking anymore. It's opening a lot easier. Look at that. It just opens right up and it doesn't leak anymore. This piece just comes right out, and there's a little black circular O-ring in there, rubber. And now that I oiled it up, it's working just fine. No problems at all. So we're back in business. Hallelujah. So lift this up. See that little black O-ring in there? It lifts right out, and I oiled it, put it back in, pop this back in, and back in business. These are what we're doing for lunch today. We rolled up 64 of these yesterday. They have beef and cheese and refried beans in them. We bought the little wraps, and we used the ground meat that we showed y'all that we did the other day in these. We just kept the little containers that the tortillas came in, and as we rolled them, we put them into some sandwich bags, and then put them back into these bags, and then we froze them. This bag hasn't been frozen yet because we just did them yesterday, and about to pop a few of these into the oven right now for our lunch. I'm gonna do them at 350 for 25 minutes. Okay, they're out of the oven. They're nice and toasty. Sliced up some tomatoes, and this is some of that vegetable that we created, that white vegetable, and I just sauteed it with some butter and a little brown sugar. It's very, very good. So that's going to be lunch for today. We're getting a good little summer shower. We sure needed it. It was some kind of hot before this rain started falling. It's cooling it down nicely. So we're glad. I know the animals are enjoying it. I see a rooster out there by the barn. Look at him. I don't know if y'all see him standing in the door of the barn by that orange chair over there. Looks like he's waiting for the rain to stop for him. Okay, I'm about to put this sweatband to the test, y'all. I gotta go get my 3 buckets of manure out of the barn. So let's go get them. While we're out here, we're going to top off these waterers. Well, going ahead and rinse this one out. You want to have some waterers that's short enough for your short animals, and you want to have some, you see there's a little skillet over there with water in it for the little chickens and stuff, the little baby chickens. If there is any around, they can get them a drink out of that over there. And then there's some that can drink out of this level, and then I have this thing over here for them to drink out of as well. And I like to just come out here and top it off for them during the summer when it's so hot like this. Make sure they have plenty of cool water to drink. I got a little board floating in there in case I get a chicken hop up in there. He won't have to drown. He can hop up on top of that board and have a little bit easier way of getting out of there. I also have a water in this barn. You see it in there? It keeps the water even cooler. Okay, that fulfills our object for the day. The sweatband's doing pretty good. Hadn't had any problem with sweat in my eyes, so I'm liking it. It's a good thing. And then I made me a little companion one to wipe with also. It's working out well. We need to empty our air conditioning bucket. It's drip, drip, dripping. No use to just let it waste there on the ground, so I'm going to dump it on a plant nearby. Mr. E's in here cooking. He got it smelling real good. What you cooking, Mr. E?
Deer gravy.
Excuse me.
Usually do this on Friday, so we don't have to cook Saturday, so we can rest on the Master's Day, the Sabbath day. But it rained this evening, so I couldn't do the work I needed to do, so it slowed me down outside, so I figured I'd do some of my cooking that I do tomorrow.
Yeah, good deal. Yeah, we won't have that to do tomorrow, and we can get some other stuff done tomorrow, so that's good. You want me to tell these good people goodbye with me?
I reckon so.
All right. Well, let me get over here with you.
What you was taping, Mom?
I was taping me out in the barn, getting some of that manure and moving it into the garden.
Okay.
So I want to thank y'all for coming along with us today, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank y'all. Bye-bye.
Bye.